Welcome back to Pop Culture Explosion. I'm Mike and this is Paul.
Here at Pop Culture Explosion, we watch all the trailers. We get our geekness on. We do the cosplay piece. We see the movie, and then we share the review with you. Mike, what are we talking about today?
Today we are talking about Rogue One,
a Star Wars story. And this is a spoiler-free review. If you haven't seen this movie, shame on you if you are a Star Wars fan. But this is a safe place.
So get your crayons, and your coloring books and your ponies.
And there'll be no trigger warnings going forward. No, this will be a spoiler-free episode. So if you have not watched it, you're safe to watch this.
Yes. So we're going to start off with, this was a great movie. You should go see it.
Yes, it was great. It was awesome. Mike, in your humble opinion, why was it great?
It was great because, well, it was a great addition to the franchise. I think there was a fair amount of fan service going on there to make people happy. You know, they were going to tie in old stuff here and there, so you can go, oh, look at that character. Oh, I see that character. You know, so that was part of the excitement for me.
Yeah, I took Christine, my daughter, to go see this, and there were moments where I was just geeking out. Like I think I cheered a couple times, and she's looking at me going like, Dad, what's the significance of it? And I just looked at her like, are you my daughter? Needless to say, now Christine saw Star Wars like 10 years ago when she was a kid. Well, she wants to see it again now because this movie was so awesome.
Yeah, and it's a good standalone adventure as well. Kind of what they're calling a one-off. Although I feel like it could be episode 3.5 and plug right into...
I agree. I mean, this movie is a transition piece between episode 3 and episode 4.
Which to me, it's like, it could just fit right into the saga. You know, it's not like they're making a movie about Walrus Man and that's a standalone movie over there. This is like right in directly in the storyline. So
yeah, I mean, this is really... it's the introduction of the Death Star. I think that's pretty safe to say. And how the rebels were involved at the beginning of how to bring it down. And this is really what the whole basis of this movie was. Because in the trilogy, the Death Star was just there. But this was, in my opinion, kind of the backstory of the Death Star and the backstory of the Rebel Alliance.
That's right. So this is definitely a must-see for Star Wars fans. I think people who are not familiar with the Star Wars movies might be a little like, well, what does that mean, or whatever. But it's still a good movie.
I mean, there's probably will be 10 people out there that haven't seen the Star Wars movies, and I don't understand these people. So this movie,
they're probably Trekkies or something.
Right, but no, you can. This could be your first Star Wars movie that you've ever seen, and it still is a fun, exciting movie.
Tell us about the Rebels.
First of all, the Rebels were dirty. I mean, they're nasty. I mean, we saw Rebels in the Star Wars movies. They looked very militant. They were organized. Well, we saw a rebel that, you know, our government today would call them terrorists, you know, just how they act. And then there was a scene where one of the actors was saying, you know, I've done things that I'm ashamed of. And I'm sure a lot of rebels, for what they thought was pursuing good, probably have done some pretty nasty things, and they talked about that. So I really enjoyed that spin. And I also like the fact that you had the council, you had all these different races that we've seen before in the past, and again, it felt like this was the birth of the Alliance and the Rebels.
And there were so many cool elements to this, especially the Death Troopers. I mean, I was like kind of scared of those guys, you know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, those are some of the I don't know, highlights. I mean, the battle scenes were ridiculous. I mean,
yeah, there were three. Yeah, there were three major battles that we saw, and each one was unique. They were gorgeous. It was. I mean, imagine watching Star Wars with today's technology. They mixed the practical effects with the CGI, and they did an amazing job.
Oh, well, and they have some CG surprise characters in there, so it's like, you know. I don't think they're quite there yet with the CG, but
it was close
where they're
enough.
Going with this, I mean, they could make entire movies
without actors anymore,
with whoever they want.
Right. Oh, we can't afford Harrison Ford.
Fairly. Yeah, let's put Harrison Ford in a Han Solo trilogy somewhere. You know, when he's younger. Done. And we are back.
Okay, so we're assuming now the true Star Wars fans have already watched the movies, so you guys, it's safe to stick around. So here we are now going to be discussing our spoiler-filled review.
Rant.
No, there's no rant on my part at all. So we kind of left it as how we reviewed it, and I voted. I put it like a 9.5 in my humble opinion, and we're gonna go with a good, bad, and ugly scenario. First, Mike, what was good about this movie? So much.
Everything.
Good.
I don't think there was anything bad about the movie necessarily. I think there was some fan service in there. The fact that we get to see characters like Dr. Evazan and Pondo Baba, aka Walrus Man.
Yeah, when they're walking the streets.
Yes.
And I heard his voice, and I'm like, oh my god! He's like, who's this guy? I'm like, we'll see him in Star Wars. First of all, there are several different pieces of this story. You had the flashbacks, right, which gave us a little bit of information.
That's new for Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars doesn't really do flashbacks. They did dream sequences in the prequels, which we will not speak of. But so the flashbacks were interesting. How did it feel when you didn't have the scrolling words at the beginning?
It was kind of cheap in a way because they just kind of went Rogue One.
Yeah, and there was no Star Wars.
And you know what
mention.
I noticed a lot about the movie, which was kind of it was the music was different.
I noticed that too.
The music was generic. Star Wars.
So maybe we're talking about the bad
generic,
here right now.
Yeah,
we're talking a little bit about the bad.
Well, I don't want to say it was bad because I see what they're trying to do with it because there are pieces where they did give you the Vader music or whatever was in there. So
that was the only time I really got goosebumps was when they introduced Vader. And you heard the music in the background. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I was having a panic attack at that moment when I saw it.
So let's get back on track. So let's talk about the good. Okay, so the good. I thought we had 3 amazing combat scenes where the action was intense. Stormtroopers were actually hitting their targets, which I was thoroughly impressed with. We saw our beloved X-wings. We saw our Y-wings. We saw TIE fighters and stormtroopers.
There was even some new ships in there.
There were a couple new ones. The Star Destroyers. I mean, there's a scene where the Star Destroyer's coming at you, right, and you see the light hit it, and I just envisioned a shark coming at me. I was 7 years old again, watching Star Wars for the first time. That was me.
Yeah, and the characters were all great. I liked Jyn Erso and
who's your favorite character?
Favorite character? Wow. Aside from Darth Vader,
I don't
know, man. It's hard to say. I love Krennic. He was a good villain.
K2.
K2. That's like without question. He was one of the greats.
That was the first time we actually saw a true battle droid. I mean, he was, especially when they're in their one room. I mean, he's shooting people without even looking at them. I just thought that was pretty cool. My second favorite character was the defective.
Bodhi?
Bodhi, the pilot. I liked that character.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's good. You didn't know where are they gonna trust him or what's happening?
No, I trusted him the moment I met him.
Well, when they met him, they weren't sure. That's what I'm saying.
No.
Getting in there. Okay.
Donnie,
Imperial pilot.
Donnie Yen, he was a good character. I really liked him. He was a good Force-sensitive character.
Forrest Whitaker.
He was good. Yeah. I don't know.
I was surprised that they left him behind. I wanted to see more of him. I thought he was more involved, and I guess not.
Now he had this piece in the movie. He was to deliver the hologram to somebody, and that was his role in the movie, and it was great. So let's dive into some of the ugly, Mike, because you have an ugly. I don't have an ugly at all, but Mike does.
I have a big beef with this film, and the fact that the limited screen time for Darth Vader. I was hoping that there was going to be much more of that, and this was their opportunity to make this into a Vader-driven villain movie, and they didn't do that, and that's kind of a separate thing than whether or not this movie was good. I don't know.
I see where you're coming from.
I felt prequel anger here
I
for
get.
the lack of Darth Vader. So for a couple days after I saw it, people were texting me going, "Oh, 1 out of 10, 1 out of 10." I said 6, and they were like, "What?"
6 was your number?
I was giving them a 6.
Oh my god! I was
Because
thinking
I was so
like
pissed off.
8.5. And Mike,
No.
we were talking about this yesterday, and my only thing is, I think this affected him so much it kind of skewed the movie for him a little bit.
Yeah,
And
it did. It really did.
And I'm sorry for you for that.
Well, the 60 seconds of Darth Vader on the
about
screen at the
90.
end, I wanted that to be half of the movie, and it wasn't, and that's what bugs me about.
And to back you up on this, Mike, I thought Darth Vader was going to be a bigger bad guy in this as well. So I too was disappointed, but there was really only 2 things I wanted to see in this movie. I was able to check them off. One, I wanted to hear Darth Vader's voice. I wanted to hear the breathing mask. I just wanted to see him as a whole person. And secondly, I wanted to see him throwing around rebels, chopping them up with a lightsaber, and just killing them. And we got that too. Matter of fact, he was such a badass in that one scene.
You mean that whole 60 seconds? That whole 60 seconds?
Just, hey, I'm grateful
Agreed.
for what we got. Okay, it was awesome. And so since I got that, I really enjoyed it. Now,
Wait. You know what else I noticed is there was parts where they were showing him that you didn't get the breathing effect. And I was like, well, wait a minute. You just kind of see him. And if you see him anywhere on the screen, you need to have that other piece in there.
oh, especially when in the hallway where it's all dark and you can't see nothing except the lightsaber shows
Yeah,
up.
well,
and
you
it's
heard him there.
Yeah, you
but
did.
even at the end there, you couldn't. There was just parts where I thought they should have had it in there, and it wasn't. And
Yeah, it was good. I want to ask.
not that. Let me just come back to it. It was epic. That's a scene you will see over and over and over and ever. Wear out the DVD, Blu-ray, digital, whatever you're watching it on, for sure.
I want to ask our audience, and then also with you, Mike. We saw Governor Tarkin and we saw Princess Leia, and they did the CGI thing. I thought Princess Leia looked really good. Governor Tarkin, not so much. But how they resurrected a dead actor in this?
Yeah, who gets paid for that?
That's a good question.
Who do they get permission from?
My question to you, the audience, how do you feel about that? Because the way technology is going, eventually I could be in a movie and you could put Tom Cruise or Brad Pitt's face on me and dang, is this a slippery slope that we're going down?
I don't think so. I just think that it's not quite there yet with the CG. You're looking at Tarkin and saying, yeah, that's CG. At least I was, and I was like,
Well,
okay,
what-
yeah,
what-
that's
what-
CG.
what- what if
It's
they-
cool. I'm glad they did it. I think that they're gonna, if they get it to the next level, that they can eventually make it look damn real. But
So if they do it,
not there yet.
when they do the Han Solo movies, should they take a young Harrison Ford and stick that face on?
they should. Actually, that would be wild if they did that. That dude, they just picked him so he could play the part, but just throw Harrison's face on there. Dude, that would be the... I might actually be happy with that.
So, you know what?
Unless they're going to give him 30 seconds of screen time, I don't know.
Well, if it's a Han Solo
It's a movie about a side droid, but Han Solo happens to be in it.
Okay,
Just put the name on
so
there.
and as far as I'm concerned, I was hoping to see Princess Leia when you see the ship drop.
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
And the guy's
hey, she's
walking
gotta be there.
in the hallway with the metal planes, and they open the door and you see the back view of Leia. I'm like, yes. And at first I'm like, will we even see her face? And yes, we do see her face.
Yeah, I thought they were going to, because when she came to the
Yep,
side,
I
they did
thought
the side
we
view. I'm
wouldn't
like, is
see
that
the
her
face.
daughter?
Yeah. So it was really good. This movie for me, I enjoyed this so much more than
me.
than you, yes, but also Force Awakens, because when I was thinking about this on my drive here, Mike, Force Awakens, I have a list of things that just annoyed the crap out of me with that movie. And
You and a lot of the internet, I mean, people shredded that movie.
right, but with Rogue One, I have no complaints with this movie at all. And if I and that's how I'm comparing the two. I thought Kylo Ren was a weak ass villain.
Well, now we're going into a different sort of
But
review, but
true, we are. I apologize. So, and that's why I think this movie.
didn't we do a episode 7 review?
Oh yeah, we did.
We did. Mm-hmm. We'll have to put
So-
that link in the...
Yeah, we'll put the link in the review below. So
Well, my reasoning Force Awakens is better is because Han Solo. Harrison Ford could have been just sitting around,
Yeah.
and it's still better.
I apologize for taking us down this path, and I'll get us back in. So in closing, guys, what are your thoughts about this movie? And how do you feel about Disney being able to every other year give us a non-Skywalker film? Will we continue watching this, and will this movie break $1 billion?
Yeah, or will we get tired of it? Now, I mean, Disney's got two in the hopper now, and I think I like where they're going with it.
So what?
Overall,
So
it's definitely not prequel crap.
no. And actually, Disney, if you're watching this, do a reboot with the prequels.
Yeah, the prequels need a reboot.
They do.
Period.
So with that being said, guys, Mike, final thoughts.
Final thoughts, go see it. It's awesome, and I'm going to see it again in the theater, and I'm going to try to get over my Darth Vader butt hurt.
And I'm going to see it tomorrow, and I'm probably going to take my dad next weekend. So I project at least 3 viewings of this movie.
Yeah, and how about numbers? What do you think? Because this is Saturday after
Morning.
the release. Yeah.
So I'm thinking for the weekend, it'll probably do 95 million.
Yeah, I was guessing about 85-ish, but we could be surprised.
So you want to do a bet? We'll do a bet.
On what?
I don't know. The bet. Okay, we'll come up with the bet. But my number right now is 95, and your number is 85.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to do it. I think it'll do more than 85. 120. I'm going to put it out there. 120 million.
Okay, 120 million, 95. We'll follow up with the bet. So, thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this episode, please hit that like button. And if you hit that like button, a life-size Death Star will be delivered at your door tomorrow. If you have some friends, share it. And if you have not subscribed, subscribe. That being said, peace out.